Hello everyone, John Bodine here with Redemptive Psych, and here we're committed to exploring the individual personalities and the pieces that make up a personality type as a reflection of our Creator and of God. Today we're talking about the second of the perception functions, the sixth of the cognitive functions. Remember, there's 8, there's 4 judgment functions and 4 perception functions. And today we're talking about extroverted intuition. Now, extroverted intuition in short is this: the possibilities that I see. It is a question of what is your relationship with the future potential around you. Your relationship about the future as it relates to where the world is going, the choices, the consequences of other people, that will reveal where in your stack extroverted intuition exists. The next level of characteristics are extroverted intuition shows choices. It's aware of the potential and it can show choices to people. Next, it shapes desire. Because it's aware of the potential, it's also aware of individual intentions and desires from other people. Desires to walk a certain path, to achieve a certain goal, to pursue something specific. And shaping desire both helps to refine that desire, but it can also stoke desire in a place where someone doesn't yet want something, and it can show someone why something is worth pursuing. And extroverted intuition, this is a big one, also reveals consequences. Again, because of their awareness of the potential around them, they are very aware of what might happen when said potential comes to fruition, or when a said choice is made, or when a desire is lived in by another person. They are aware intuitively, instinctively of consequences. The element attached to extroverted intuition is water, and water is both a combination of adaptability. Extroverted intuition users, particularly these top 4 ones, can kind of fit into any mold. They can shape themselves to the desire and to the intention of those around them. They're very adaptable. Now, the 4 NP types involved are a combination of the rationals and the idealists. The NTPs being the 2 rationals and the NFPs being the 2 idealists. What is the primary need of extroverted intuition? It is desire plus clear intention. They can help you see better, help you see further if they know what you want, if you state an intention. And, quick tip, that also makes extroverted intuition users more calm, more comfortable if they know specifically what you want. That's their basic need. What is the basic fear? For air, for extroverted sensation, we talked about the fear of being stuck, being trapped, just like a wind is like a kite, and the extroverted sensors don't want to be contained. Extroverted intuition is similar to that in terms of the image, but it's more about being stagnant. What does water do when it doesn't move? It kind of rots, right? It's not healthy for it. So continuing to move a little and have some life to it, that is what empowers extroverted intuition to stay alive and stay active. So which types use extroverted intuition? We talked about it briefly, but again, these are arranged in order of the heroes, the parents, the childs, and the infants, or the inferiors. Any heroes, extroverted intuition heroes, are very confident about the future, very confident about their ability to create options and see possibilities. These are the 2 ENPs, ENTP and ENFP. They're very optimistic and pro-future, and they love just to give people ideas. We'll talk about that more later. Next is the extroverted intuition parents, the INTP and the INFP. They're more cautious, they're more restrained, a little more precise with their future. They're a little more concerned about consequences and warnings rather than possibilities, but they can still do both. But being parental, they care more about, not running over the cliff as opposed to chasing the amazing opportunity. That's more the ENP, and not running over the cliff is the INP. Next is the ESJs. While they are more concrete, they still have some extroverted intuition. It's in their child slot. They are very innocent and actually have some, at times, profound ability to give choices and to see some of the future and see some possibilities. And they love to help people be free and to stoke desire in other people, but it's done in a more childlike, innocent way. And lastly, the ISJs. They are naturally afraid of the future. They see the possibilities through a lens of fear and anxiety and kind of seeing the worst in those possibilities. However, like all the inferior functions, through walking through that fear can transform. They can become some of the most inspiring and accurate seers of the future and givers of the best choices that avoid the worst possibilities and can have the best opportunities. Next is NE traits/strengths. The first is idea generation. They are great at coming up with ideas. This is especially true for the ENPs, who are just, ideas are just hanging around like fruit to pick, and they can give those ideas to you. So they are very good at just coming up with an idea for anything. It doesn't really matter what context. Next is consequences and warnings. They have a kind of prophetic ability to them. Many of the prophets in the Bible were most likely NP types, especially the NTPs, who have a word of conviction to them with their TI used to. So they are very concerned and aware of what might happen, and they steer people away from bad consequences and bad choices and try to warn them what's going to happen if you don't change your path. Next is freedom and choices. They don't really want to obligate other people. They don't really want to make other people do things unless they're stressed or really afraid. But in general, they like to give people choices. They want to give people freedom. They want to see what someone's going to choose. And of course, they want to be chosen by other people. So part of their intrigue as extroverted intuition, as water and the void is the most intriguing, is to provide freedom and provide choices and also hope to be desired by other people. Next is inspiration. Now, Jung said of the NE heroes, of the ENPs, that they are unrivaled as far as inspiring or kindling desire in other people, whether that be for political movements or religious zeal or a sports crowd, something like that. They can kindle desire and vision like nobody else. Unfortunately, sometimes that leads to cult leadership and things like that, where it's more of an abuse of their inspiration. But obviously, every strength has a danger to it too. But they can be very inspiring people. Now, next is extroverted intuition struggles. The first thing is reality denial. Again, especially for these top 4 types, extroverted intuition exists in the realm of possibility, which can mean that they are running as fast and far away as they can from reality. Now, this is particularly true for the ENTP and ENFP, who really can kind of fear reality and have a loathing for it because it's so limiting and constraining. The INPs are a little more oblivious of reality. It's not as much a conscious choice to be unaware of it, but both of them, especially the ENPs, live in a confrontational relationship with reality. They don't really like it. They struggle to accept it. They struggle to be aware of it. Next is unlived advice. A lot of NE users can have this issue, again, especially these top 4 types, where they give advice related to things that they haven't actually gone through. And part of it's not always bad, because extroverted intuition can come up with ideas about anything. Sometimes that's needed to relate or reach somebody. It's just that they can give advice a little too strongly sometimes, where they actually haven't lived that experience and they're not really willing to stand behind that advice. So try and filter through that when you're talking with one. Next is despair and fear. This relates to all 8 types here. Because they are the water and the void and the possibilities, they have a tendency to be very fearful and despairing about the future, especially if what they see coming is not so good. But it goes a little deeper than that too. Their preference, their natural preference, is to elevate the desires and the choices and the futures of other people around them. So yes, they can be despairing and fearful about what those people might choose, but it is also about their neglect and their repression of their own desire, of their own future. And part of their despair is unconscious, because it's trying to tell them that, hey, you have not invested in your goals or your future at all. And that's part of the source of their despair. And then lastly is entitlement to desire. Now, I said that extroverted intuition users want to be chosen, want to be sought after, want to be pursued by other people. One of the issues and the struggles they can run into is feeling that, hey, I'm strong, I'm loyal, I put in all the effort to help you get what you want, so I deserve to be wanted by you or by someone, or just in general. And this entitlement can lead to bitterness about other people being chosen, about not feeling as appreciated or valued for helping other people with their futures, and it can lead to some real issues. Lastly, extroverted intuition growth. So the first point here is about surrendering future. Mainly the idea of surrendering the future is building some faith. And I don't know if people can do this without God. I think they can try, but I think it's better to do it with. The idea, though, is that just because you are aware somewhat of the future and of some consequences and some choices, it doesn't mean, A, that it's your burden to carry. And B, it also doesn't mean that you're going to be always right. You may see a lot of things that might happen. And yes, they could happen, but a lot of those things are unlikely to happen. So not only is other people's futures not your total responsibility, it's also the case that you actually don't know what the future holds. And any users, until you can let go of some of that consequential awareness, let go of some of that certainty that you feel about the future, if you can let go of that, you're going to have some peace. But if you can't, it's just going to be haunting you for the rest of your life. So having some faith, surrendering some of that ability that you have, and having your vision be shaped by God, that will completely change your relationship with extroverted intuition. It'll change your relationship with consequences. It'll change your relationship with desire and choices and the whole thing. So learning to surrender your future is vital. Next is letting your desires speak. Psalm 37:4 talks about the desires of our heart being granted, indicates that even though you are the water and you may not be conscious or aware that you want some things, you do. Now, you may not know what you want, and you may not be like an INJ who's very wanty and thinks of all these things that they may want. But the reality is, deep in your heart somewhere, there are a couple things, at least a couple things, that you actually want. And ENPs and the SJs, all these types, repress what they want. They don't allow themselves easily to want something, to desire something. So forming more of a relationship with your heart and listening to it and trying to discern, hopefully with God, that makes things a lot better, but hopefully able to discern some of the desires of your heart is very important, and those desires may be granted. Next is focused attention. This is especially the case for the ENPs here, who can have like 10 feet in 10 different projects at once, and it's just like ADHD to the max. And they really can benefit from learning to have a little bit less going on and then invest a little bit more. They kind of go for quantity over quality a lot of the time, but if they can learn to focus their attention, if thine eye be single, thy body will be full of light, then they will get a lot more done, and they will be a lot more effective and accurate with bringing in possibilities and seeing what may happen. And lastly, accuracy. This is related to developing accuracy with your extroverted intuition. There's two things here. Accuracy of extroverted intuition equals goals plus lived experience, meaning just what we talked about, letting some of your desires speak and having some pursuits and goals of your own, stating your preferences occasionally about what you may want. And it's not just what you want to experience, like going to a restaurant. That's more something you guys can already do. But it's about your own future, what you may look forward to. And that's really, really hard for ISJs, for example, because they really push down what they want. They don't really know what they want. But learning to have a goal or two, something that you want, that you pursue, that comes genuinely from your heart, that is going to make you more accurate with your extroverted intuition. And the second part of that is lived experience. Don't be so afraid to try different things, to try new things, to incorporate and add up different life experiences. Because the broader variety of life experiences that you have, the more your extroverted intuition will see, the more accurately it can predict, and the more it can help people achieve better futures and guide them through their goals and the achievement of them. So the combination of goals plus lived experience is going to help your extroverted intuition grow immensely. All right, guys, that's extroverted intuition. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time for the last couple of the cognitive functions. Thanks. Bye.